they make their way to the seats, I'm going to call forward Democratic candidates for District Attorney, District 21, Jamie Adams and Herman Little. Good evening, both of you. Again, same format. Jamie, ladies first. We will let you have 2 minutes to introduce us to yourself, give us the foundation of your platform, and what you see your role as district, or the role of the district attorney, how you think you're best suited to fit that in the Democratic ticket.
Good evening. Glad to see everybody here. I am your district attorney, Jamie Adams, and I've been a prosecutor for 17 years. I've tried well over 100 jury trials to verdicts. I have been handpicked to train other prosecutors across the state of North Carolina. And what I have seen through my experience is that I understand that in order to help reduce crime, you have to address the root causes of crime. And some of those things are poverty, number one. And being in a rural area, that is something that's definitely impacting people here in our district. And so not only poverty, but also violence in the home. So domestic violence, sexual assault of children, all of those things. And so when I think about addressing the root causes of crime, safer homes equal safer communities. So if you make the family home safe, our communities will be safer in turn. And so as I've seen throughout this district, the things that I've already done for you is I've already helped to establish a child advocacy center that services Anson, Richmond, and Scotland counties. I've also worked to try to bring an organization here called Man to Man that has been in existence in the state of South Carolina for over 25 years. And it's in existence to help to support men, all men, at various stages in their life, wherever they may be, and whatever age they may be. And then also, domestic violence task force for domestic violence. And so I'm going to ask you to keep me as your district attorney, so I continue to serve you as your district attorney, and all the things that I want to see happen in this great district.
Thank you, Jamie. Mr. Little.
I'm Herman Little for Rockingham, North Carolina. Richmond County is my home, so I'm a Raider stuck in Fighting Scott territory. However, Richmond and Scotland County both share a lot of similarities. My background, first, I want to say I'm a child of God, and I never neglect the fact that if it wasn't for God's grace and mercy, I wouldn't be here today. Second of all, my background. I started out as a criminal defense attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina. I represented defendants. I then entered the United States Army as a judge advocate. United States Army judge advocate, JAG Corps, is a corps that you are assigned to various disciplines in the legal field. My discipline was a criminal prosecutor, trial counsel, national security law attorney, administrative law attorney, operational law attorney, contract and fiscal law attorney. I court-martialed soldiers. Court-martial is a trial. I then became an assistant district attorney in this district when it was just Richmond and Anson. 2 years into that tenure, I was called up to the United States Army Special Operations Command as a judge advocate, trial counsel, military prosecutor. I stayed there for 2 years, came back, honorably discharged, and still serve the United States Army Reserve right now. When I came back to this district, I then went to the North Carolina Department of Justice and became an assistant attorney general. I represent the state on the appellate level, so the Court of Appeals level, and also the North Carolina Supreme Court. So anytime the district attorney office messes up on something at the trial level, I have to correct it on the appellate level. I also represent the North Carolina Department of Transportation when it comes to tort actions. I'm from here, and we have to lead this community, not from inside the office, but inside the communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Little, Ms. Adams spoke about her trial experience, and you have had quite extensive trial experience on the military side. On the civil side, what has your trial experience been? And Ms. Martha Gibson, if you would, Ms. Martha, stand up. If you have a question that you'd like answered, I'm going to call your name and ask you to stand up. Ms. Martha Gibson. Do you mind standing up so the candidate can see you? Thank you. Ms. Martha Gibson asked, how many felony cases have you tried in the civil part?
In the civil?
Yes.
Okay, so a felony is a criminal charge. So
Well,
it would be a civil.
When I say civil, I meant civil versus military.
Okay, civilian.
Civilian, yes, civilian court.
So I've had a lot of felony cases on the civilian side as a civilian district attorney. That's what you're asking. I can't give you an exact number of cases that I've actually tried on civilian side. I would like to make this understanding though. When you're talking about the United States Army JAG Corps, and you're talking about the cases that are prosecuted in a court martial, we go by the Uniform Code of Military Justice, a statutory law. North Carolina has the North Carolina General Statutes. We have a United States Supreme Court that comes down with case precedent that every court in this nation has to follow. That's law, including the military courts as well as the state courts. So the relevant experience is not only from the civil side, but also from the military side as well. Anybody would tell you that practice in a military court will tell you the seriousness of the nature of that practice. You're dealing with a professional panel, jury of soldiers that are very, very competent and understand the law. And it takes an effective prosecutor to be able to take apart a complex case and prosecute it effectively. When I was with the United States Special Operations Command, we had specialized defendants that didn't just commit crimes, but they knew how to do it well. And I had to do my job extremely better than that. And so my experience, Ms. Gibson, is broad as far as being able to try cases felony-wise, because a felony in a military court is the same as a felony in a state court. Same effect.
Thank you. Ms. Adams, any response about your experience on the civilian side?
Yes, that's all I have done for 17 years. When I first got here to Scotland County in December of 2020, I walked into an office that it almost looked as though it had been abandoned. There were boxes everywhere, there were files everywhere. I didn't know where to look, up or down. But what I did is I dug in and I saw that there were cases as old as 2015. And so as a trial lawyer, what I do know is that you have to pick up those cases, look at them, and you have to gauge the community. What is it, or what are those things that are or are not acceptable for this community? And once you do that, and you do it effectively enough, which I have done, and mind you, I live right here in Scotland County. Ever since I got here in 2020, I've been right here. And when I first got my house, or down the street, I heard gunfire every single night. I'm hitting the floor. And I said to myself, Jamie, you need to leave and you need to get out of here, you need to get quick. But then I thought about it and I said, wait a minute, everybody in our community doesn't have that luxury to be able to do that. So I said, I need to focus, and I need to focus in on these violent crimes, and that's the priority that I have given. And so just over this past year, I've resolved 24 homicide cases. So it is important that you know how to try homicide cases in particular, because in this district, there are well over 100 pending homicide cases in this district alone.
Thank you very much. Sandy, we'll let you go first. Ms. Casey?
speaking of that violent crime rate here in Scotland County, in 2024, Scotland County had the 4th highest violent crime rate. You spoke at the start of your both of you kind of spoke at the start of your guys' comments that it takes a community effort, and I respect that you can't solve this overnight, but what are we missing in terms of that community effort here in Scotland County, and how will you guys be working with the community to address that violent crime rate?
So I believe that for far too long we've been having a one-dimensional approach. And it's no disrespect to a career prosecutor, but you have to think outside the box. And thinking outside the box is getting outside of the 4 walls of the district attorney's office and going into the community. My platform is based on building a network, a coalition of individuals in our community. I call them ambassadors, that we can hold individuals accountable. Community policing. If you take care of your community, hold your community accountable, then we can turn this thing around. But 4 things: learning your community, engaging with your community, accountability, and developing a coalition. We need partners. So that's retired law enforcement, current law enforcement, retired probation and parole officers, school teachers. I was talking to an individual today, and they expressed that, we all know one person that we had maybe in school or somewhere that when they walked in, everybody got on their P's and Q's. Those individuals exist in the communities here, and we need to tap into those resources. Those things don't cost money. It costs time. And we shouldn't never neglect that opportunity to do so. But you have to know the community, and not just know the community when it's a campaign or political season. You have to do it all the time.
I have been involved in this community since I got here. That's something that I have historically done as a career prosecutor. Every time I go to a district and I work, I learn the community. When I first got here, Scots for Youth Teen Court, that was one of the things that I still to this day, as sitting as your district attorney, that I still go in there and I act as a judge. Because if I can see you in a situation where you have done something that's not as severe as some of the things that I see every day, if I can prevent you from coming before me again, that's exactly what I'm going to seek to do. I also sit on the board of Partners in Ministry, which is another organization in this great community that does a lot of wonderful work. And I didn't just get on that board because I became your district attorney. When I first got to this community, I sat on that board, as well as the Scotland Memorial Foundation, and I chair the scholarship committee as well. So I know this community, and I know what this community needs, because I am a resident of this community as well. And it's not just initiatives or a campaign platform for me. It's life and it's living, and it's our community and our lives and living in this rural community. And I am the best that's suited for it.
Thank you both. And I have one quick question for you before we go. It's no mystery that in the last couple of years, the entire court system has been in a transition state through directives from the state, moving more towards digital and virtual processes. How have you, I'll let you respond first, Ms. District Attorney, how have you handled that transition? What are there things you wish you had done differently? Are there things you're very proud of?
That was a very challenging, especially for me as a career prosecutor, it was extremely challenging. I was actually appointed by our former governor, Roy Cooper, on actually it was September 30th of 2024, but I actually took the seat on October 1. But we went live with that on October 16th, so 15 days. So not only was I in a new role, but I also had to transition the office into e-courts. And it was nothing like this we have ever had to experience before. And so what I did, and it kind of left the district attorney's office kind of out of really the training and transition of this. So what I did is identify key people on my team. And I said, guys, we're gonna meet with one of the, they call them the bathroom team. And these are the individuals that are kind of helping you navigate through this new system. And I said, we're gonna all get in a room. And I asked them, I said, these are the things that we do every day. Tell me how to do these things in this system. And my key folks, we understood it, we went back, and it was kind of like a train-the-trainer kind of experience. So we did that, and it's been seamless. And so that is a definition and also a demonstration of true leadership. And I was able to do that to bring us along in that process. So that's also another layer of all of this, is not only did we have that, and we had COVID, and then what I was walking into with all of the cases that were backlogged in this district. But all of those things, and we're still, and hopefully none of you have been able to feel it. Because that's what I always wake up every day and I say. As long as the community can't feel the shortness in our staffing, the backlog, and the way that we're all stressed to do a good job for all of you, as long as you don't feel it, then we're doing a good job.
Mr. Little, how have you experienced that change, and are there things that you observe?
And I'll definitely answer that question, but I think we all feel the issues in this community. Being ranked number 3 out of 100 counties, yeah, we all feel the high crime rate. We all feel the high crime rate when the shooting occurs blocks away from a Christmas parade, when shootings still happen on James Street. To answer the question about technology with the North Carolina Department of Justice, we've been inserted into the technology phase, e-courts, ever since I got there. I go throughout the majority of districts that's in this state and handle cases. And some are in Superior Court, some with the Industrial Commission, some are even at the federal level. And so those things that I've been trained on and taught at the DOJ matriculates to the district attorney's office. And I am able, and I will, lead on day one. Military background, military prosecutor, civilian prosecutor, civilian assistant attorney general. I have the experience, and I will show this community and turn this thing around with the help of you all. Thank you.
Thank you both very much for being here.